It is the 90s, and there's time for Klax.
Klax, wave.
By 1990, the puzzle craze was in full swing, and one of the companies leading the way was Atari Games, who had sub-licensed Tetris and released it in US arcades a year or so earlier.
Very good.
Back in episode 6, I covered the history of Tetris and all the legal wranglings surrounding the rights to the game.
Klax, wave.
Atari Games, under its 10-gen label, was one of the biggest victims of that whole soap opera, eventually being banned from selling its version of Tetris for the NES, and forced to destroy hundreds of thousands of unsold cartridges. Klax is one of the many games built to capitalize on the popularity of Tetris. While not every new puzzle game was a massive hit, there was a new breed of player looking for more cerebral experiences in arcades in the early 90s, so everyone was taking a shot at the genre. Klax is basically tic-tac-toe. As the various colored blocks march down the conveyor belt, it's your job to catch them and arrange them in rows or columns of 3 or more similar colors.
Very good.
You can only hold a certain number of blocks simultaneously, but it is possible to throw captured blocks back up onto the conveyor belt to buy yourself a bit of time. Filling the well without meeting your objective or letting too many blocks fall off the conveyor belt results in a game over. I've always liked Klax. It doesn't quite have the elegant simplicity of Tetris, but it manages to be very easy to pick up and play, and by constantly switching up level objectives, the game manages to stay fresh despite its very basic rules. Having to get a diagonal Klax or survive a certain number of blocks requires that you change up your strategy very frequently. This port of Klax is pretty spot on. It even manages to offer a 2-player mode, which for some reason didn't always make the cut on home ports of puzzle games. Klax was actually the product of a developer's desire to do something quick and simple. It is the brainchild of Mark Steven Pierce. After working on the classic Road Blasters, Mark spent the next 2 years creating the relatively little-known Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters, which was a comic book-style 60s sci-fi action game. In a 1990 interview, Mark told The One magazine that he was a bit burnt out after such a long cycle, and wanted to create something more playable and compact for his next game.
Break into food lockers for more life.
He knew that puzzle games were popular and that Atari was definitely interested in a new entry, and so Klax was born. What's unique about Klax is the quick production time. Dave Akers wrote the entire game in a matter of weeks using Amiga Basic, and then ported the code line by line to C. The final game ran on the same hardware as Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters. The name was a last-minute thing. Apparently the game was finished but lacked a title. That's when the team decided that the game should be named after the distinctive clacking sound of the blocks marching down the conveyor belt.
Very good.